My daughter looked me in the eyes and said, "I know what you did." But I had done nothing. I still remember the way her voice trembled, not with sadness, not even anger, but with something colder. Certainty. The kind of certainty that doesn't ask questions, doesn't wait for answers. It just decides. And in that moment I realized something was terribly wrong. It was a quiet Sunday afternoon when she came over. I had just finished making tea, the kind she always liked. Extra ginger, a little less sugar. Even after everything we'd been through over the years, I still remembered the small things about her. A mother never forgets those. But that day, she didn't sit down. She didn't smile. She didn't even look around the house like she usually did, pointing out what I should clean or fix. No, she just stood there, stiff as a statue, her handbag clutched tightly in her hand. "Sit down, Beta," I told her gently. "I made your favorite tea." She didn't move. That's when she said it. "I know what you did." First I thought she was joking. Maybe some misunderstanding, something small. I even let out a soft laugh, trying to lighten whatever strange tension had entered my home. "What are you talking about?" I asked. Her eyes didn't soften. Not even a little. "Don't pretend, Ma." That word, pretend, it stung more than I expected. "I'm not pretending," I said, my voice quieter now. "Tell me what's going on." She finally took a step forward, her heels clicking sharply against the floor. Every sound echoed in the room, making my heart beat faster. "The money is gone," she said. I blinked, confused. "What money?" "The money I kept in my locker. The emergency savings. It's gone, and you were the only one who had access." For a moment, I didn't understand what she was saying. It was as if her words were floating in the air, refusing to settle into meaning. "Are you accusing me?" I whispered. "I'm not accusing you," she snapped. "I'm telling you the truth." The truth. How easily she said it. As if truth was something you could bend into whatever shape you wanted. "I didn't take anything," I said firmly. "You know me. I would never." "Please," she interrupted, raising her hand. "Don't make this harder than it already is." "Harder?" I felt my chest tighten. "You think I would steal from my own daughter?" I asked, my voice breaking despite my effort to stay calm. Her silence was my answer. And that silence, it crushed me. I took a step toward her, my hands trembling. "Look at me," I said. "Look at me and tell me you truly believe I could do something like that." She did look at me. And what I saw in her eyes wasn't doubt. It was disappointment. That hurt more than any accusation. "I didn't want to believe it," she said softly, almost as if she were talking to herself. "But everything points to you." "Everything," I repeated. "What does that even mean?" "You were there last week," she said. "You asked me about the locker. You stayed alone in the room for a while. And now the money is gone." Her words came out like pieces of a puzzle that had already been completed in her mind, with me as the culprit. "Yes, I was there," I said. "But I didn't even touch your locker. I asked because I was worried about you keeping so much cash at home." "That's not what it looks like," she replied coldly. I felt the ground beneath me shift. "Not what it looks like. Since when did appearances matter more than truth?" "Then what do you want me to say?" I asked helplessly. "How do I prove something I didn't do?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she reached into her bag and pulled out a small envelope. My heart skipped a beat. She placed it on the table between us. "What is that?" I asked. "Proof," she said. My hands hesitated before picking it up. Inside there were photographs, grainy black and white images. CCTV stills. My breath caught in my throat. They showed me entering her room, then standing near the locker, and then bending down. I felt dizzy. This doesn't show anything," I said quickly. It just shows me in the room. You were the only one there during that time, she replied. That doesn't mean I took anything. I cried. But even as I spoke, I could see it, the doubt creeping in. Not in me, but in the invisible space between us, the space where trust used to live. I didn't come here to argue, she said, her voice suddenly tired. I just wanted to hear you admit it. Admit it. The words echoed in my head like a cruel joke. I can't admit something I didn't do, I said quietly. She closed her eyes for a moment as if gathering strength. And when she opened them again, something had changed. A wall had gone up. Then I don't know what to say anymore, she whispered. You can say you believe me, I pleaded. But she shook her head. I wish I could. That was the moment something inside me broke. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like an old thread finally snapping after years of holding things together. She turned to leave and panic surged through me. Wait, I called out. Please don't go like this. We can figure this out together. But she didn't stop. At the door, she paused just long enough to say something that would haunt me for days. I trusted you more. Oh, I whispered. She told me everything, my sister continued. Why would you do something like that? The words hit me like a slap. I didn't do anything, I said, my voice trembling again. But she sighed, the kind of sigh that carries judgment. I don't want to get involved, she said. But you should fix this before it gets worse. Worse? How could it get any worse than this? I hung up slowly, my hands cold. That's when I realized it had already begun. The whispers, the doubts, the quiet shift in how people saw me. And I had no idea how to stop it. All I knew was one thing. I was being blamed for something I didn't do. And somehow, I was losing everything because of it. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face again. The disappointment, the distance, the quiet judgment that replaced the love I had known all her life. It played over and over like a cruel loop I couldn't escape. By morning, I understood something clearly. If I stayed silent, I would lose her forever. And I had already lost too much. I sat at the edge of my bed, holding those CCTV photographs in my trembling hands. I studied them again. Every shadow, every angle, every small detail that I had been too overwhelmed to notice before. There had to be something. Something that proved I wasn't what she believed me to be. That's when I noticed it. In one of the images just behind me, barely visible near the door, was a shadow. At first, I thought it was just a trick of the light. But the more I looked at it, the more it felt wrong. It wasn't my shadow. It was too tall, too angled, and in the next frame it was gone. My heart began to race. Someone else was there, I whispered to myself. That thought sent a strange mix of fear and hope through me. Fear, because it meant someone had entered my daughter's home unnoticed. Hope, because it meant I wasn't losing my mind. I wasn't guilty. I quickly got dressed, my hands moving faster than they had in years. I didn't even stop for tea. I grabbed my shawl and those photographs, and I left the house with only one thought in my mind. I needed the truth. When I reached her building, my steps slowed. For a moment, I stood there, staring up at the windows of her apartment. What if she refused to see me? What if I made things worse? But then I remembered her words. I trusted you more than anyone. And I knew I couldn't walk away. I walked inside. The security guard looked at me with a strange expression, one I hadn't seen before. It wasn't warm. It wasn't respectful. It was suspicious. Namaste, I said softly. He nodded but didn't smile. I need to check the CCTV footage from last week, I told him, trying to keep my voice steady. He hesitated. Madam already checked, he said. She took copies. I know, I replied. But I need to see the full video, not just the pictures. He looked uncertain. I don't know if I'm allowed. Please, I interrupted gently. This is about my life. Something in my voice must have reached him, because after a moment he nodded. Come, he said. We went into the small security room. The air inside was stale, heavy with the hum of old machines. He rewound the footage to the day in question. My heart pounded as the video began to play. There I was, entering the building, walking down the hallway, going into her apartment. Everything looked exactly as I remembered. Then came the moment. I entered her bedroom. I moved toward the locker. He bent down. And then, I froze. There, I said suddenly, pointing at the screen. The guard paused the video. In the reflection of the mirror, just for a second, someone else appeared. A man. My breath caught in my throat. Zoom in, I said quickly. He tried, adjusting the grainy footage as best as he could. The image blurred, but the figure was still visible, standing near the door, watching me. My hands began to shake again. I wasn't alone, I whispered. The guard frowned. But no one else entered the apartment from the main door, he said. Then how did he get in? I asked. He didn't answer. But I already had a thought forming in my mind. The back balcony. My daughter rarely used it, and sometimes she forgot to lock it. A chill ran down my spine. Someone had been inside the house while I was there, and I had no idea. I need a copy of this, I said firmly. Finally, on the fourth attempt, she picked up. What is it? She said, her voice cold. I need you to meet me, I said. Please. Just once. I don't think that's a good idea. It's about the money, I added quickly. I have something to show you. There was a pause. Then, a quiet sigh. Fine, she said. 1 hour. When she arrived, she didn't come inside. She stood at the doorway just like the day before. But this time, I didn't feel weak. I handed her the pen drive. Watch it, I said. I've already seen the footage. Not this, I interrupted. He hesitated, then took it. We sat in silence as she plugged it into her phone. I watched her face as the video played. At first there was nothing, then confusion, then pluck. Pause it, I said gently. She did. Look at the mirror, I whispered. Her eyes narrowed, and then she saw it. The man. Her breath hitched. What is that? She murmured. That, I said quietly, is the truth. He replayed it. And again. Her hands began to tremble. There was someone else in the house, I continued. I didn't know. I didn't see him. But he was there. She looked up at me, and for the first time since all of this began, the certainty in her eyes was gone. I don't understand, she said. Think, I urged softly. The balcony. Was it locked that day? Her face paled. I don't remember, she admitted. A long silence filled the space between us. Then, I accused you, she whispered. I didn't respond. I told everyone. Her voice broke. I made them believe. I know, I said gently. Tears filled her eyes. I'm so sorry, Ma, she said, her voice trembling in a way I hadn't heard since she was a little girl. I was so sure. Everything pointed to you. I didn't even consider that I might be innocent. I finished softly. She nodded, unable to speak. For a moment I just looked at her. This was my daughter. Flawed. Hurt. Human. The same child who once held my hand tightly to cross the street. Now standing before me, shattered by her own mistake. I was hurt, I said quietly. Not because of the accusation, but because you didn't trust me enough to ask, to listen. She broke down completely then, covering her face with her hands. "I don't deserve your forgiveness," she sobbed. I took a slow breath. "No," I said. "You don't." She flinched. "But you're still my daughter." She looked up at me, her eyes red and filled with regret. "And I refuse to lose you over something that wasn't even real." Her lips trembled. "Can you ever forgive me?" she asked. I paused. Because forgiveness isn't a moment. It's a process. It will take time, I said honestly. Trust doesn't come back in a day. She nodded quickly. "I'll do anything." "I don't need anything," I replied. "Just don't ever look at me like that again." Tears slipped down her cheeks as she stepped forward, slowly, as if afraid I might disappear. And then she hugged me, tightly, like she used to years ago. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in days, the weight in my chest began to lift. The truth had come out. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, just like the lie had begun. And in the end, I learned something I will never forget. Sometimes the deepest wounds don't come from enemies. They come from the people who believe they know you best, but forget to trust you.